Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have at least three handouts. I mean,
Oh,
it's going to be completely. Oh, you're good. Oh, four. That's great. And where is the menorah? Oh, there it is. Beautiful. I don't know. Let's ask Julie.
here. I have one up here.
All
So
out at once, or should we give them out at the time?
I think it's going to be confusing if we don't give them out at the time because, like, you've got lots of different things. You know,
That's when she does.
yeah.
I
And
changed them around by
Am I
the way.
lighting a candle when people are doing this?
Are you okay adjusting your own mic down
Yes.
and all that?
I
Okay.
changed
Thank you.
I changed yours
There
and
is
mine.
love. So I'm going after theirs. And I don't have to light a candle. I just say the words.
so you will know to come up when Suzanne finishes for the song "There Is Love." Whoever's doing that, or the
We all
Catherine
say
is.
that, and then Catherine does that.
Okay.
I'm going to do this reading. It just made more sense
Sure.
contextually to do the reading first.
Okay. All right. And could you help us get people seated? I don't want to go. Oh, encourage. So, okay, I'll hand out most likely. I'm gonna introduce you. So here's the order. Here's the order of service. You're gonna come. We have a welcoming. We have light the chalice. We have some opening words. We have this.
Okay.
You sing after the opening words,
Yep.
which Anne will read.
Yep.
You sing Ose Shalom.
With you.
Yes, of course. Yes, I love. It's one of my favorite songs in the whole world. I sang it all through my pregnancy with Bright. And then
And then I tell.
yes. So actually,
Story and lighting up the menorah. What's the story?
um,
'Cause I was doing
just
that
the
all together. Like,
yeah. Don't worry yourself too much about this. This is just the general idea.
So
This is your section here,
Yeah, good,
and
okay.
people are going to come and support you with
Yeah.
some music and song and readings after you're done
Right.
speaking. And you want to keep it 10, 15 minutes.
they
you
told
know.
me 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I introduce you, and after Ose Shalom, I'm going to introduce you, and I'm going to hand out these. Okay. And
Okay. Bring out my show and tell box with the
oh yeah,
gills and dreidels.
yeah. Do what you do; it will be wonderful. Aye. Ooh, beautiful scrimshaw. Is that scrimshaw? It looks like scrimshaw almost. Wow.
Oh, my friend made it.
It's beautiful.
She's now deceased, but I love to wear it at Christmas.
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, with memories like that, she's not deceased. There. You can't be afraid to smack it. Goodness, I've never had to be so forceful in prayer. Welcome, everybody. Um, I'm going to be reading from my phone because we are challenged with getting things printed. So bear with me as I comfortably navigate technology and small print and gather us for worship on this first day, as the Quakers say, first day. I am, like many Jewish people who are celebrating Hanukkah this year, full of emotion, full of concern, full of questions. trying to hope. My heart's been breaking. People have come up to me for months, and I was dealing with other issues, and it hadn't sunk in. I had a lot of family stuff going on, and it's sinking in. And as we light candles, there's a story of Hanukkah that many people don't really know. In the world around us, we think Hanukkah is happy. Though we try to equate it with Christmas, which is lunacy, and Suzanne will explain why. But today we gather to calm our hearts, to enjoy our fellowship, to know what's important, to be with people, and to gather our spirits. We are not following a traditional script today. We're not reading everything as we should. We're not having a formal land thing. We're in a different place. We're in uncharted territories. And in truth, when war becomes normal, that's a problem. And we need to change things up a little bit, just for this moment. And you're going to have some revelations today that you did not realize about Hanukkah. And so welcome to change. Today I'm leading your service. I'm Julie Shannon. Our program coordinator is Ann Lewis, who bravely took this step into the unknown. Suzanne Greenberg is here. She is the president of the Havara on Vashon and a friend, and has been in my life for decades, multiple decades. We're working on our third, I think we're starting. And our technical support is provided by Dennis. We are so grateful for all the support of people here from hospitality and onward. And our theme for December is mystery. And it is a mystery to me how Hanukkah got corrupted. So that's about as much mystery as we get on that. It's a mystery why we have to fight when in truth we all want the same thing. I want to thank hospitality team number 2. And after our service, please stay for coffee and tea and treats and continue to enjoyment of each other. So today, Suzanne, as the president of the Havara, is also coming as a person who is a Jewish person who has a joy of learning, a joy of study, a strong sense of who she is as a Jew. And I can say that because I know I've been there, I've seen it. And it's a testament to her parents and her upbringing and to a very strong youth program in her earlier years. And she has taken on the role of president of the Havara kind of without end right now. I feel like, it's the role that nobody wants. And Suzanne has been in that role for quite some time. Well, I've rang the chime, and now it is time for Julia Lakey to light our chalice.
Good morning. We light this chalice as a symbol of our free faith. We light this chalice to remember the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 days. We light this chalice to mark the nights of midwinter, and we light this chalice as we wait for the sun to return.
And now, Suzanne is going to come and light the menorah, because the menorah candles need to burn all the way down, like the Sabbath candles. In the Jewish faith, we don't blow out candles. Candles sort of own us. And we have an eternal light that always stays lit. So the act of lighting the candles is a beginning. And to be clear, this is the Sabbath. And so normally we would not be lighting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm still on Saturday, guys. That's how bad I am. But for example, on Friday night, when we light both Sabbath candles and Hanukkah candles, we always light the Hanukkah candles first and then the Sabbath candles, because you can't kindle fire on the Sabbath. And so it goes the other way. We finish our Sabbath first, and then we light the Hanukkah candles. And so when I'm having multiple Sabbath days on my weekends, it's easy to lose track. But there is a thing about when to light the candles. And the reason we need to light them now is because we can't blow them out. I am going to pass out papers to each side, and perhaps you can help us to get them where they're going.
And I made enough so that people can share. So I made just 20 copies. So share with the person. And on the back is a song we're going to sing later. Hold on.
We have connections to someone who doesn't have access to them.
So traditionally, we also light it in the evening, but today is still the third day. Usually the third night. Last night, Jewish day started sundown, so we light it after sundown. But it is still the third day of Hanukkah, so we will light it. And just follow along. There's two prayers that you say. Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Like right on. Okay. So there's two prayers that you say every night, and then the third prayer.
Come up to the microphone.
Okay. There we are. I won't be able to sing and light from here, but I can tell you. Yeah. So the first two prayers you sing every night. The third one is a prayer that is sung for any special time when it's a first. And it's also sung every time that you cross water. So an Orthodox Jew would sing this every time they took the ferry because we cross water all the time. So, and it's just a blessing saying, thank you for bringing us to this time together. And it's it's called Shehechianu. It's a beautiful prayer. And you can sing it on, a birthday, the first of anything. So this is the first time we're all celebrating Hanukkah together. So we will do Shehechianu. Light this. So this candle in the front, some people probably are confused why there's 8 nights of Hanukkah but always 9 candles. And it's because the one candle that's separate is called the worker. And this candle is not one of the holy special candles. This is the candle that does the work of lighting the other candles. And so I'm going to light this candle from your chalice so we can take the light from the chalice and spread it to the Hanukkah candles. And then this candle sits in front. But this candle can, do things that the other ones can't. So you could light a different menorah from this candle, but you couldn't do it from the others because once the others are lit, they're holy and you can't put something in them.
Also, there's an order.
Okay, I'll tell you more. There is an order, and as in all Jewish stories, there was an argument about what the order is and how we do it all. So there were 2 camps of rabbis. Hillel was a leader of one camp, and Shammai was the leader of the other camp. And Shammai said we should, on the first night, light all of the candles, and each night go down one candle until you end up with one. And Hillel said, no, 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 we should light with one, and you build towards the beauty of all the candles. And they fought back and forth, and Hillel was more popular. And so that is how we do it, which is, just a testament to narrative and story. It's, whoever wins the story gets that tradition. But also you always put the candles starting from right to left. So each night you add one from right to left, but you light them from left to right. Who knows why? Lots of rules.
I think it's the newest night first.
Yes. Yeah. Starting with where we are today. So we're going to start on the third candle and go over. And you go in also the order, because Hebrew reads from left to right. So you go in the way that you would read Hebrew. So, all right. So we'll all sing together. Oh, and one more. One more thing about. So when you light Shabbat candles, you light the candles, and then as they're burning, you sing the prayers. Hanukkah, you sing the prayers, and then you light the candles. Who knows why, but that's the way it is. So we'll sing them, and then I'll light.
And now Anne will grace us with some opening words.
Thank you, Julie and Suzanne. From Walking Toward Morning. The moment of magic. Now is the moment of magic when the whole round earth turns again toward the sun. And here's a blessing. The days will be longer and brighter now, even before the winter settles in to chill us. Now is the moment of magic when people, beaten down and broken, with nothing left but misery and candles, and their own clear voices, kindle tiny lights and whisper secret music. And here's a blessing. The dark universe is suddenly illuminated by the lights of the menorah, suddenly ablaze with the lights of the kinara, and the whole world is glad and loud with winter singing. Now is the moment of magic when an eastern star beckons the ignorant toward an unknown goal. And here's a blessing. They find nothing in the end but an ordinary baby, born at midnight, born in poverty, and the baby's cry, like bells ringing, makes people wonder as they wander through their lives what human love might really look like, sound like, feel like. Now is the moment of magic, and here's a blessing. We already possess all the gifts we need. We've already received our presents. Ears to hear music, eyes to behold lights, hands to build true peace on earth, to hold each other tight in love.
And so we go from the magical to the mundane, from the joy of the light to the joy of learning. And I am pleased to welcome Suzanne to come forward and to share with us the story and the tradition of Hanukkah and the wisdom that she has unearthed to share with us about all of that. Thank you, Suzanne.
And I brought my little box of show and tell. So I have learned more about Hanukkah in the last day as I prepared for this than I've ever known my whole life. And the reality is there isn't a story of Hanukkah. There's lots of stories because different people told stories, different people changed the story, and new stories are developing all the time. So what we do know, there's also myth, and then there's also what we know from research and reality. And we do know that there was a war, which, there's a war now. So we can imagine how heartbreaking that was at the time. And how we know that there was a war is because it was recorded in several different ways. One, there was 2 books called the Book of the Maccabees 1 and 2. But the thing is, neither of those ever made it into the Jewish Bible. And again, it's about who controls the narrative, and nobody knows exactly why. There's lots of theories. Some say that it was because it happened late, and when they were there was lots of books. I think people might know this, but there was lots of books, and some made it into the book and others didn't. And I just learned that the group that didn't is called the Apocrypha, and it means the hidden or the untold. So you can learn a lot about the time from all the stories that didn't actually make it into the common narrative. So Book of Maccabees 1 and 2 did make it into something called the Septuagint, which was a group of Greek Jews wrote down their story in Greek, and then as the Christian Bible was being put together, that made it into some of the Christian Bibles. So the Catholic Bible, for instance, has the story of Hanukkah, and the Jewish Bible does not. So it's very interesting. I've actually never read it, and I just ran into someone who said, I have a Catholic Bible, we should look at it. So, and then there was also, many people might know, there was a historian named Josephus, who was a Jewish historian, who wrote things that happened, but later. So, things always get changed when it's written later. He wasn't that long after the Hanukkah story, but he wrote down his memories. So, it's the story of Hanukkah. It was the story of oppression. There was, colonization. It was the Assyrian Greeks, so Greek culture was spreading all over the place at that time, and the Assyrian country was following Greek, teachings, learnings, and they brought it into Israel and started to spread it there. And the traditional story is that they outlawed Judaism and they started slaughtering Jews who practiced Judaism. And the temple, many may know, in Jerusalem was the most holy, and still is the most holy spot in Judaism. They defiled the temple. They forced Jews to eat pork. They forced them to pray to Zeus in the temple upon death. And so it was a very oppressive time. And you couldn't study Torah. You couldn't be Jewish, basically, without being killed. So the story of the dreidel is that this is a game. You spin the top, and the story is that people would pretend that they were just playing this gambling game when really they were studying Torah. And when the army would come in, they'd say, we're just playing dreidel. So who knows how true that is, but that's the story, and we still play dreidel to this day. So a family, the Maccabees, decided to rise up and fight the army, and they were a ragtag little band, a family, and they fought for 3 years. And apparently the war started on the 25th of Kislev in the Jewish calendar, was on Thursday night, and ended on the 25th of Kislev. And to this day, we celebrate Hanukkah on the 25th of Kislev. Noah read some research a few years ago, and I'm starting to read some of that too, that it wasn't as clear-cut as that, as the good guys and the bad guys, because it turns out that there was also a civil war that many scholars are finding from reading all of these documents, that there was also a civil war. So there were Jews who were following Hellenistic practice, and the Jews who were purist were fighting against them. So it's also kind of a purist versus, fundamentalist versus non-fundamentalist going on. So that story continues to this day. The fundamentalists tend to be the ones waging war against the other fundamentalists, and people who are in the middle suffer for it. So, it's hard to know this many years later exactly what the story was, but what we do know is that we don't really know because it's this many years later. So when they finally regained the temple after the defilement, they were slaughtering pigs, and most people know pigs, you don't eat pork if you're Jewish or Muslim, and so they were doing things like purposely to hurt, to offend both the spirit and the body. And so they regained the temple and immediately proclaimed that they would have a big celebration of Sukkot. Sukkot is an 8-day holiday in the fall, and it's a harvest festival, and it's you build a little hut, it's a beautiful holiday. In Jerusalem at the time, it was a festival, and everyone would flock to Jerusalem for this festival, and, dance and sing, and 8 days of festivity, and people loved it, and the whole country would go every year for Sukkot. Because there was a war, Sukkot didn't get to happen. So the first thing that they declared when the war was over is, we are going to have Sukkot. And from now on, we're always going to have a second Sukkot that's 8 days long to remember this. So there was no oil. Sorry to burst the bubble. The miracle of the oil was decided 600 years later by rabbis who were like, I don't know if we should be just celebrating a war. What about God and miracles? So that that got put in later to, make it more spiritual and more God focused. But the reality was, it was a war, it was won, and they got to celebrate. And then they did, Hanukkah means rededication. So they rededicated the temple, they cleaned it up, and they celebrated. And they said, from now on, we're going to have this second Sukkot for 8 days and light a candle. Probably the candle lighting did happen then, but the story of the miracle happened much later. So there's lots of, there's always the story we tell and how we celebrate it, and then there's what really happened, and then there's trying to figure out what really happened, and that's part of Jewish culture. We have something called midrash, which is the story between the lines, and it is a huge tradition in Judaism where you come up with what happened, what do you think really happened, because the Bible, the Torah, is very stark. This happened and then this happened. And so rabbis over the years have thought, well, maybe what that really means is this, and have come up. And a lot of the midrash has become, a big part of traditional and standard Jewish practice. But the practice of doing midrash is ours to have. We all can come up with, what does this mean to us, and what do we want it to mean? And so Hanukkah also now, a lot of people have it mean a story about solstice and darkness, bringing light into darkness. And a friend of mine pointed out that the 25th of Jewish holidays run by the moon. They're lunar holidays. And it's the 25th of Kislev is 8 days before the new moon. And the new moon near solstice is the darkest night of the year. Solstice is the longest night, but the darkest night is the one with no moon on it. And so you light one more candle each night as you go towards solstice, bringing more and more light into darkness. And we can also think about that during times of pain and war, of bringing light into the world, bringing light into our lives, and hoping for peace. And, all of the woes that we have on our planet, we can light candles for bringing light into all of those. There's a song and a saying that came up after this war and the story of the war, and it's not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone may we all live in peace. And that's connected to the Hanukkah story. And I think that was, again, later, the rabbi said, this was all about war, and that's not what we want to focus on. So, like in every culture, things happen that are not what the values of the people want. And Jews don't want war. All of our liturgy and songs are about peace. And so I'm just putting out that hope that of what we all really believe in to spread and to stop this horrible war that is going on in the Middle East right now. So we're going to sing a song about peace called Oseh Shalom. It means make peace. And and I wanted to just tell a little bit about some of the traditions and also about the Hanukkah versus Christmas. So I don't know if I think it was last year, I wrote an article for the Beachcomber called Hanukkah is Not the Jewish Christmas. So the irony of Hanukkah is that it is a holiday about fighting for our culture, to not have it crushed and to not be told you can't celebrate your culture and who you are, and to be proud, even if you're a minority, to have a different, separate culture. And the irony is that it landed smack dab next to this giant other holiday. And people conflate the two. It's like the Jewish Christmas, and you give presents, right? Presents are actually not a part of Hanukkah. Parents give presents. It started in the 1950s because people, kids were feeling left out. My parents gave us presents, and we actually, when I was really little, they would decorate a tree outside and give us presents on Christmas. And then that dried up one day. I'm like, what happened to all that Christmas stuff? And they're like, we just did that when you were little, not so you wouldn't feel left out. So, that was a big thing. And so that is the irony, is that this holiday happens to be near this other holiday, but they have no relation. And in fact, Hanukkah is one of the most minor holidays in Judaism. So if you want to really support Jews and wish them well, think about them during September and October. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the most important holidays of the year. Passover is a huge important holiday. Hanukkah is a fun holiday. You play dreidel, you light the candles, you don't not go to work. We have something called a Yom Tov, which means a good day, which means it's holy. Like you don't do a whole list of things like on Shabbat. Hanukkah's not one of those days. Hanukkah is it's just a more light holiday, even though it's about Purim, and so in my article, what I ended with was. And I talked about how people then make it a euphemism, go, happy holidays, as if that we have a holiday around now that is important. And we don't. So I think the best way is the thing that does unite us all is solstice. Solstice is an earth holiday. Every single person is connected to solstice. We're all watching the sun get dark. We all want to bring light in. And so I encourage everybody to just say, happy solstice. And that includes everybody. So that's my Hanukkah spiel. Okay, does everybody have the song? Yeah. Okay. And it can be sung as a round. We'll sing it and join in. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yoshvei tevel, oh say shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol yoshvei tevel. So yoshvei tevel means and all the world. And many Jews have added that in now because it's the line is, may there be peace on all Israel. And I want people to understand that doesn't mean the country of Israel. Israel is the Jewish people, and the country was named for that. Israel was Isaac, and we are all the children of Isaac, the children, B'nai Yisrael, children of Isaac. That's who the Jewish people are. So that's what the song was around long before the country of Israel existed. So. Oh, I just wanted to show a couple of show and tell things. So originally, we didn't light candles. This was all about oil, so that is a reality. Olive oil was what was used in the temple, and traditional menorahs from days gone by are oil menorahs, and my mother collected menorahs. So you pour a little olive oil and put a wick in, and that's how the menorah was lit. And we actually tried it last year. It was a little messy. We're going to try again. Maybe we'll do avocado oil because it burns better.
How old is that one? Do you know?
I don't know, but I would say, more than 100 years for sure. And my mother got all into it when I was in high school and would hang this on the wall and, and then...
It's in the
Oh, right in front of my face. And then the other tradition, so you didn't give presents on Hanukkah. That's a Christmas thing. But you would give gelt, money. And traditionally it was real money. And I don't know where the tradition came from, but it morphed at some point to be chocolate money. So this is Hanukkah gelt. And that's traditionally. And then the game of dreidel. You play dreidel, and it's a gambling game. So each letter, tells you how much, and you would play with the gelt, how much to put in and take out, and nobody ever wins because you keep putting in and taking out forever. If you get the hay, that means you take half the pot. If you get nun, that means nothing happens. Oh, that's gimel. If you get gimel, it means you get the whole thing. If you get nun, nothing happens. And if you get shin, you put one in. And the game literally goes on forever, and I have never seen anyone win it. But it's still fun.
And the kids treasure the cheap chocolate. Although Israeli chocolate, let me tell you, it's pretty good.
And if anyone would like to try it, we can pass this around. Everybody can take some gelt to give it a try. I'll take the dreidel out. Oh, and then there's all kinds of variations always. As in a theme of Midrash, this is a doodle dreidel. It's a magic marker, and you can do it on a piece of paper, and it draws really cool little things, and it's very fun.
So I hope we've dissolved some mystery, but left more for you. And I welcome Catherine as we head into the next part of our service.
apologize, we had so many handouts. Had we been better organized, these would have all been together, but that was beyond the capacity of our team.
Thank you, Andrew.
So as you get yours, there's some in bold print. This is a responsive reading, so you have to do something. Sorry, guys. But you'll be reading the bold print, and I'll be reading the italics, hopefully. And just raise your hand if you don't have one, but I think we're all good. When the Holy Temple was rededicated at the time of the Maccabean liberation battle, only 1 day's worth of oil remained. Yet it burned for 8 days, so we light candles in remembrance. To the miracle of trust in a time of anxiety. To the miracle of faith in a time of cynicism. To the miracle of courage in a time of fear. To the miracle of peace in a time of violence.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. And as I struggle with this technology, we go on. Is this the time when Catherine reads? I'm confused. Oh, okay. It's always a little tenuous when I'm reading off the phone. So now is the time where we have more of a sharing, Suzanne, and I'm sorry, I'm spacing names right now. But we are gathered here, and each of us brings something. And so we share our joys and concerns. And if you have a joy or concern to share, please come up. Feel free to light a candle and share your joys. In the Teal hymnal, we have a song, a hymn, number 1002, called Comfort Me. And I believe there's a video that goes with this. I'm not sure. Dennis, do we have a video with this?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I'm unfamiliar with it, so.
Some of us are familiar with this song, and if you are, I would invite you to please join me up here in reading this because we do not have a musician for tonight. Oh, you could?
Not like.
See, there are always miracles. This song was chosen given the tenor of our situation. I just need an opening. Let's try this, folks. It's not about how beautiful we sound. It's about the words. Oh, please stand as you're willing or able. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Is the offering for her? Yes. And now is the time that we pass a basket for an offering. Normally, once a month we give to different charities, but today we are supporting this fellowship. So if you're putting in for your monthly contribution, be sure to mark that on the check. Otherwise, thank you for your kind support of our loving community. And we can sing We Give Thanks. Give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here and as far away. Our time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Are all gathered here and those far away. For the time we share with loving care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We've made it. We've made it to the end of a service with a phone to guide us. With the human hearts that are frail sometimes and strong other times. With light that's waning and light that's growing. And today, as we go forward, the most important lesson of all, we are the light. Be the light. Speak up for peace. And bring it with you wherever you go. I invite now Julia Lakey to come extinguish the chalice, but not the menorah.
we extinguish the chalice, but we carry the light and we carry it forth.
Sometimes you just have to be heard. This ends our sacred time of worship together. And I welcome anybody with announcements regarding the Unitarians, our fellowship, things sponsored by the Unitarians, to come forward.